Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel formerly known as... Wait, did I just screw it all up? Ah, there it is. Welcome back to the channel formerly known as RJB Starcraft Casts, now known as RJB TV. The casts is kind of just there to indicate that I primarily do casting and commentaries. Let's get that out of the way. Now I don't want to save it. Let's remove that interface as well and get to the actual video itself. Because, as you've already seen in the title, I want to continue on with some Mong against Brain. Because this is some of the most hype stuff that has happened to Fastest Map in a long time. Two actual pro players with a tremendous amount of skill facing off against each other to decide who is actually the best of these two players. Previously, we have seen a match between them. So that turns out a little bit lower. Previously, a couple days ago, actually yesterday I think, we had a match from a separate date between these two, with Brain playing Zerg, now he's on the Protoss, and Mong playing Terran, he's on the Terran once again. Now, this, what we're watching now, is the start of a best of 5 series between Brain and Mong, to decide who is the best. It was played a couple of last week actually. So this video last week they played this match, and that's also the day that I received Lucky Back's autosave folder. And he was observing all these games because they had been playing a lot of tag teaming up until this series, where whoever lost got tagged out and replaced with someone else. And they would play like 10 or 15 games in a row, tag teaming people out and in. And then they decided to play a best of 5 between Brain and Mong for money, because one of the viewers wanted to see them play against each other. And I think one of them got 119,000 won, which roughly translates to about $97. It's about $100 roughly. So yeah, Brain starts off with a very, very familiar build for most of his Westerners. And that is the 3-gate mid-gate proxy, 3 mid-gate proxy, or you could call it the 3-gateway mid-build proxy, whatever you want to call it. People call it differently. I call it the 3-gateway mid-build. There are the first 2 zealots probe there on the scene as well. And Mong already built a bunker there at his barracks to defend himself against this. So now it's going to be coming down to a micro battle. And do note that both players are actually playing on their main races. Brain is primarily a Protoss player. That's the race he plays in the competitive scene, in competitive tournaments, in pro tournaments, for a fact. And Mong, of course, plays Terran. So Mong gets off pretty good at the start. Doesn't lose any Marines. Brain manages to preserve all those zealots. Probe here at the bottom side gets spotted out. They're both trying to touch and feel whether they can go in or not. Brain is looking to go in, but he can't really find a good way in, so he's pulling those Marines away with those zealots here. But the zealots are getting caught out and they will be the sacrifice. But in return, Mong gets a pretty good chance at hitting the SCVs. Takes down one SCV, fight at the bottom there is being one for Mong, and Mong winds up losing 2 SCVs. This zealot there gets stuck in between the SCVs because Mong is clipping them into each other, and yeah, so it turns out not even Brain can pull off a mid-build. Because something we've seen really often among the really good Korean Terrans is that a mid-build gateway is something that always fails. And the higher the skill level of the Terran, the more impossible it seems to become. And yeah, it has already failed here. Though Brain might pick up a little bit more damage here with those zealots, because Mong has all of his Marines there on the top side. Even though he doesn't need them there, he just killed the pylon. But now the zealots are on the hunt, chasing those Marines. Marines are microed very well, and SCV number 4 is picked up there by Brain, so he's already getting some results. SCV number, he didn't kill that one, because he pulled it off. It stays alive, so it stays on 4 SCVs killed there. A lot of SCVs and a lot of Zealots and Marines lost there in the process for both players, but Mong comes out on top. Cannons here in the front though are finishing up because Brain is keeping Mong busy. But this is the least you want to achieve with a mid-build Protoss. This doesn't seem all that worth it. Great exchange there on the bottom side, great exchange there on the top side. 2 fights happening at the same time, and the top fight looks to be going in favor of Brain. His multitasking might just be a tiny bit better. So yeah, he picks up SCV number 5 there. That's actually... he's actually getting some results there with picking off the SCVs and keeping Mong busy and keeping Mong small. Mong does have Stim upgrade now on the way. Medics have finished there as well, and he's placing them in front of his Marines very wisely to use them as a wall. Cannons are in the front, there to contain Mong. So Brain still has a huge chance at winning the game here, but he has to play it smart. Starport coming down there on the top. Machine Shop is on the way there as well. Brain is scouting, looking for things to kill, and he splits up his Zealots really wisely because he wants to hit 2 separate sides of the base at the same time. Force Mong to split his attention. Fight happening there in the top, but those Zealots look to be wasted completely, and Brain doesn't find a window to go in and harass Mong even further. Missile turret on the way there, so Dark Templars are also not an option. But Brain wasn't planning on going for Dark Templars because he only now starts warping in his Cybernetics core, and he went for a very greedy +2 Nexus to boost up his economy. He is 6 workers ahead of Mong, so Mong has fallen behind a little bit. But nothing that's actually all too serious. He's making missile turrets very greedily because he's really fearing the option of Dark Templars. Honestly, quite wise, because there's a pretty big chance Brain might have been going for Dark Templars. So that option has been shut down, at least. And he's trying to get more... he's trying to get turrets down everywhere in his base, so every single portion of his base is covered by those... by detection to deny Dark Templars. He's even starting up defensive missile turrets against shuttles. Brain, of course, does not have shuttles because of his very late Cybernetics core, but he does have Dragoon range on the way. Possibly Dragoons soon on the way as well, though at the moment he's still making mostly just Zealots. Citadel of Dune there coming down. He's got weapon upgrade level 1 on the way as well. And there, yeah, that's a pylon. Yeah, mining from 3 gas. And starting to retreat. Because Mong is planning on going in. Mong actually already going in. He does have quite a big Marine count, but I do think if Brain gets a good surround on those Marines, he can fight them off. Marines now on the way, +1 command center there for Mong. He's getting Marine weapon upgrade level 1 and adding on supply depots there, of course, as well. He's preparing the tank drop, and here the fight is happening. Dragoons have spawned, Marines have overstepped their boundary. And now is actually a really great time for Brain to go on the attack, because he's actually bigger, way bigger than Mong here. But really smart tank up out there on the hill, which deters Brain from actually going in. And now the tank drop is flying in over the left side, but it gets spotted out by those pylons. So Mong has to go in really quick, but Dragoon's already on the scene to interrupt this. And I think Mong knows this, so instead of wasting his tanks, he puts them up on the hill and starts abusing those pylons there on the sides. But ooh, he has to unsiege it. Pick it up. Dragoon range hasn't finished yet, so the Dragoons couldn't attack those tanks. So he unloads one of them behind the wall, picks it back up. Another tank drop coming in. Oh, that's Marines coming in. Marines coming in for a drop. He sends it in. Yeah, the Marines are not going to do much. Dragoons now have a range, so they can attack up onto the hill. Mong is trying to get that dropship out of that situation, and he managed to do so. Brain is on the chase, but he manages to escape and put the tanks up on the hill to protect his own base. There's command center number 3, factory number 2, no armories yet. Brain is scaling up really quickly. He's already on 62 probes. He used to be only 6 probes ahead of Mong, but that +2 Nexus is really putting in some work. Frontal attack here, also breaking through, but the stint Marines managed to peel down those already damaged Zealots from earlier and keep Brain away. Tank up on the hill got taken down by the Dragoons, but another tank there up on the northern hill. So at least he's got that going, continuously putting tanks up on the hill to make it harder and harder for Brain to get in. So Brain realizes now that he has to start using shuttles. So he put down 5 robos, He's got Storm upgrade soon on the way. He's got the Templars, right there it is. Right as I mentioned it, he starts making it. Had a feeling he was going to. Armor for shuttles, of course, also on the way. You want those shuttles to stay alive a little bit longer, take a little bit less damage as they fly in. Support bait there in the front, a little bit risky. But I have a feeling Brain is going to be somewhat fine. Because Mong is only on 40 SCVs and at the moment incapable of going on the offense. Brain has done a really good job at spending his money and getting his economy up and running really big, really fast. So Mong, instead of using engineering base to hover on the hills to get additional vision, he puts Marines on there. Marines do die rather quick, but it's cheap. It's very cheap. This is like 200 minerals. They was going to lose at some point anyway. He puts them up on the hills, and of course Marines also fire on shuttles as they fly in, so it's a little bit extra damage. Yeah, picks them up, busts them on the hill, gets himself some additional vision. Brain sending Dragoons to the sides to start killing engineering base to deny Mong the vision of the sides, but there's Marines up on the hills, which Brain cannot see. So those Marines should be fine. So yeah, 2 shuttles there, gonna take care of those hill tanks. Hill tanks going to be taken down by their own tanks and the zealots of course as well. Doesn't unload all the zealots, only a couple of them. And yeah, starts scouting the entire side there, incapable of passing through this little portion, but it does give him vision of those Marines there up on the hill. Not this one though. Same story here. Has vision of those Marines on the hill. Build 1 Marine on the hill. Keeping those zealots up on the hill so he cannot unload more tanks up on the hill. But he's gonna try yet again because it's really smart to have tanks up on the hill, just to make frontal attacking harder and harder. So a huge drop here loaded up from Brain. Starting the air warfare on a still relatively small Mong. 4 factories, 3 starports, the 3rd one is still on the way. Marines have been placed on the top side there to fight against drops. Tanks are in the front as well. A couple Marines there in the mix too, but nothing here in between. Nothing in between his pathway that Brain will most likely take the flyest drops in, or is he going for all the way up against the base wall here, against the side of the map, to fly in? Enduring Bay there being taken down. No longer needs that one. Mong wants to go and switch and transition all the way into mech. He's content with a level 1 Marine upgrade. Right there come the shuttles. Corsairs taking the brunt of the focus as if he's being pulled off to safety. A lot of units now unloading. Reavers, Templars, Dark Templars as well. Marines stimming in. Bunkered Marines are doing a lot of work here, taking down all those ground forces really quick. The SCC is taking damage. Front has not been attacked. At the same time, I thought something exploding there, but that's not important. And yeah, the command center stays fine. The tanks have unsieged to stop himself from attacking his own command center with the splash damage. Use the tanks to kill the Reavers, smart choice. Most of his SCVs have stayed alive, 51 SCVs left alive. He did run out of minerals almost though because he had to repair, but his income is back on track. There's only 9 SCVs on the gas there, so he's got about 40 of those. Not 40, I'd say he's got about 6 SCVs spread around his base. Yeah, he's got about 38 mining minerals. Let's see what Brain is up to next. He's gonna just continue on with that shuttle play for now. Most shuttles are filled up. Every single shuttle is in fact filled up. That's about 4 Reavers, maybe 5, and a lot of Zealots. No Templars in there though. He's gonna load there on the bottom side, outside of the range of, well, on top of those tanks, in range of this tank. He disrupt webs that tank so we can start taking down all those depots. Those Marines there on the top of it, actually helping out a lot because the Reavers cannot shoot on top of the hills. They can only kill them with AoE by hitting something that's below the hill. Yeah, it takes out about 6, 7. Whoa, he takes about 9, 10 buildings there, 2 armories, about 8 depots. That's a huge hit there on Mong, and Mong actually now on his supply cap, 134. Also got his upgrades got halted there. He immediately starts throwing down a lot of supply depots and an armory there as well. Might want to throw an army there up on the top side just to prevent them from going down time and time again. So being supply stuck of course also halts his SCV production, so he's incapable of growing bigger at the moment. Just stuck rebuilding what has been lost. This is keeping Mong busy really, really well. So Brain is doing a really good job in that regard. With a pretty great selection there of what he's attacking. Mong is being smart and spreading his tanks out all over his base, so that no matter where Brain lands, tanks will hit what is unloading. Even the front here, he starts unloading on the front there, loads up on the hill there as well. Reavers there next to the bunkers, taking down those tanks behind the bunkers. Reavers now shooting on everything they can find. Zealots are trying to break through, but there's a depot wall there in the front. Marines stimming, everything behind the wall has been taken down, but now Marines are slipping, Zealots are slipping in through the cracks. But the Marines in the back there are actually dealing so much damage. And the two bunkers are still alive. Only took down one bunker, two bunkers, and what was in them, a couple of tanks and two depots there in the front. But nothing that he couldn't afford to lose. This is a really great situation there for Mong. Buys himself a lot more time and immediately starts plugging up the hole there in the front to avoid giving Brain an opening. But Brain now goes and switches it up with a storm drop, or at least a mass drop. 2 Reavers, 3, 4 Reavers there shooting on the SCVs, and it takes down about 10, 20, 30 SCVs at least have gone down there, because the number went down from about 64 down to 34. That's a huge hit that Mong would have rather avoided, given that his minerals are already that low. But having a bit of gas in his bank allows him to pull those SCVs that he still had on the gas and put them onto his minerals. So he's got about 35, I want to say about 32 SCVs mining minerals. But it's going to take a while before he gets back up to the magic number 64 or 65. Which gives Brain more time to start flying in those drops continuously, while also getting a bigger base and setting up his tech advancement. Shuttle flies in, shuttle unloads right next to the SCVs there. Reaver tries to get a shot off, but the Reaver gets his shot off, and he hits a lot. He actually hits half of the workers Mong had there, so he loses a lot of his income once again. And the game is starting to look more dire and dire by the minute here for Mong, continuously taking damage on his command center. Losing stuff here on the bottom side as well, but most of all losing SCVs, losing income, losing economy. The only thing Mong has going for himself is that he's fortified himself pretty well, but he would be incapable of switching up his tech to match what Brain is doing. So Brain loading up Archons this time. Archons do a lot of damage against structures, against everything basically. Reavers there in the mix as well. He's only just now waiting for the shuttles, because yeah, he doesn't have shuttles yet. Shuttles now finishing up. He hasn't built a lot of cannons there on the middle. He's not very interested in getting cannons all over the middle. He did put a probe there on the top side of the map to start maybe a Stargate proxy base or a Gateway proxy base. Two options really, because there's not much else he needs to build. Dark Archon there as well. He doesn't have mind control yet, so I hope he doesn't use mind control to win this game, because it looks like he doesn't need it. But the Valkyries, they're hunting for the shuttles, but the Valkyries are being assaulted and engaged on by the Corsairs. Corsairs of course do a lot of damage against stacked up units, and the Valkyries actually try to run away, but all the Valkyries do go down. But everything here on the bottom side is in range of the tank fire and winds up going down rather quick to the tanks. Only those 2 Reavers here on the bottom side have some free fire. No, actually this one is getting taken damage as well. Tanks are already rolling up. Tank goes down. He took down pretty much only a couple of turrets here and an armory and a supply depot. So the damage was actually nil. Very little damage there. Mong also added 2 more command centers to help himself with rebuilding his SCV count. 5 command centers, that's 5 SCVs per 14 seconds. That's a very, very quick rebuild time. Taking about a minute to make 20 of them. Although it also of course takes minerals, which he has very little of, but should in the near future have a lot of. So tanks are on 1-2, so despite losing his armories, he has been upgrading his tanks quite well. Valkyries still on the way to counter the shuttles. Another drop comes in here. Mind control is now on the way for Brain. Yeah, the loads on the same spot, but once again within the range of tanks, and this time actually within range of more tanks. So he relocates himself, starts loading up on the hill, so he takes down his Marines there up on the hill and flies away to regroup, recover his mass, and load up more units, and look for something that he can actually unload on without instantly losing his units to tank fire, which is definitely not this bottom area. Although this bottom area looks like a gold mine because there's a lot of depots there, armories there as well, which are a high priority target, but Brain wants to go for something else. So he flies over the middle side of the map looking for something else to kill, while also building a gateway base here on the top side. Just in case Mong moves out and starts threatening this base, there's always a proxy gateway base that Mong has to clear out first if he doesn't want to get attacked from behind. Which is happening right now. Technically, this is being attacked from behind. He's flying in over the weak side of Mong's base where Mong has pretty much no protection. Loads in range of the command center. Lots of Reavers there on the top side above the command centers. Zealots there as well. Templars, Archons, everything is there in the mix. Mong is going to lose his main command center there and is forced to lose a lot of SCVs there as well. His SCV count got about halved again. Once again. Tanks sieging up. He had to lift up those barracks to prevent himself. Well, to actually get in there and start firing on all those units. These Reavers having a field day, cleared out turrets there. A lot of damage dealt here by Brain to Mong. Mong's been having a really bad day this game. Definitely having a bad day. Pretty much is forced to take all the abuse that Brain is throwing at him. Even though he held that mid build at the start so beautifully. Brain has pretty much felt no negative effects of going for a mid build, which usually slows you down economically. He's felt none of the negative effects whatsoever. He's been really quick on the uptake. Even has 5 Nexus. He's got Fleet Beacon there, of course, because he used Disruption Webs earlier. And a pretty beautiful gateway proxy base here on the top side. Nice massing up. Plan to go for a frontal attack, although I don't think a frontal attack is going to achieve all that much because there's tanks here behind the wall. But he's going to unload on that wall with all those shuttles, which has Reavers, Templars, Zealots, everything you can imagine unloaded behind the wall there, but everything is going down really quick. These dodges the storms with those tanks really well. Dragoons managed to break through the wall while those tanks were forced to unsiege and run away from the drop. But the wall does go down, but nothing really gets into the base. Mong though, lacking the minerals to rebuild the front here, is kind of forced to just let that gaping wide hole in the front exist and risk it. Dragoons staying outside of the range of tanks, Mong forced to unsiege, move forward, and re-siege again. Putting tanks up on the hill there, really smart, make it harder for Brain to get in, and force Brain to unload there on the hill. Another mass drop is being loaded up. This time I think he's going for the main Nexus, the main command center once again, because a lot of tanks from the back have been forced to move to the front to defend. Which now means there's only a few tanks and a couple of bunkers there to defend. It also means that these depots are once again under threat of being attacked. Mong, having already unsieged the tanks there in the front because he knows the drop was coming, is already moving them to the back, to the bottom side to protect his depots and his turrets and avoid losing too much. But there comes another shuttle. This shuttle has Templars in it. This shuttle makes it in all the way, but he snipes both Templars before they can storm. That's what happens when you don't have Zealots in the mix, or that's what happens when the Terran has really great focus fire. Really quick hands, quick mouse speed, and very accurate mouse handling. And then, because the hole has been opened up here on the bottom side, he flies in with another drop. This time it's a Dark Archon, or is that a regular Archon? A regular Archon, 3 Reavers, and they're gonna shoot and hammer away on everything they can find, but they're not shooting on the tanks. They're in the back. The Archon already went down. Tanks moving through the back. He picked up a mind-controlled SCV there, actually. I don't like that one. I don't like that one at all. Mong's on the hunt trying to kill the shuttle, but SV is flown into Brain's base, and it's now safe behind the cannons. Now this game is going to be very difficult here for Mong, because that mind-controlled SCV is going to build a command center and then rush for the factory. And Mong can do pretty much nothing about it. This is actually one of the things I dislike the most. Mind-controlling SCVs in PvT. Because this guy doesn't need the mind control. Look at him, he's already winning the game. I mean, he's having some trouble breaking in, but he's got some real results there on the SCVs, on the economy, on the base size of Mong. He doesn't have all that many production facilities. He's doing some real work. You don't need the mind control. You don't need it at all. But nonetheless, because he doesn't need it at all, I don't really have to focus on it, because he was winning regardless. Mong here on the offense, knowing he has to start throwing some punches, start putting some pressure on Brain, because that mind-controlled SCV is putting the pressure on him. Another gateway expo here on the side of the map. Tanks are hammering away on the sides of Brain's base. This tech is in danger. Stargate's in danger. Valkyries are protecting the tanks from shuttles. because that's pretty much the only way Brain can deal with those tanks up on the hill. Is unloading shuttles on those tanks like this. And yeah, the shuttle goes down. The Reavers did their work though. The Reavers are stuck there on the hill and they're going down as well. Valkyries there on the bottom side protecting these dropships, letting them unload here on the low ground and threatening the minerals there from Brain. But in comes the shuttle, unloads the shuttle in between the tanks, and those Reavers actually untouched by the tanks because the tanks cannot fire on that close range. Drop coming in here on the top side of Mong's base as well. Mong has nothing in between those shuttles and his minerals. He's pulling units back to his minerals. Reavers unloading next to the SCVs. Doesn't matter if he pulls them away. He actually loses only a couple of his SCVs there. And the Reavers shot duds, but actually that one got about 20 of them. So he does wind up losing about 20 SCVs. Zealous there on the top side wreaking havoc. Brain is not paying attention to the SCV here on the bottom side. Now he is though. And tanks here on the top, on the hill, relocating to the bottom side to try and at least take down a little bit of this here on the bottom side and not let this be a wasted investment. Took down cannons, took down stargates, but nothing that Brain can't afford to lose because he has so many buildings already. He's making carriers here to try and deal the finishing blow. Although it's only 3 stargates making carriers, it would still amount to about 5 carriers by the point in time they're finished. So there's the barracks, making depots, making more SCVs, but I don't think he's going to wind up needing those. Arbiter there as well. Upgrades for Brain are on 2, 2, 3, and for Mong they're on 2, 3. Of course still 0, 1 for the Marines. Drop flies in, but it's empty. Real drop is going to fly in a little bit later. He tried to hunt for the shuttles with the Valkyries, but didn't find the shuttles. Yeah, Brain comes in for you a frontal attack with probes, mostly just to sacrifice them, and with Dragoons to take down those depots there. But Mong already unloading tanks up on the hill, being very quick, and this will pretty much kill those Dragoons a little bit easier. Look at them go. Dragoons don't really pose much of a threat. More dropships moving out over the map. He's gonna fly around. I think he's gonna try to kill this here by flying all the way around and hunting for this Terran base. Shuttle though is moving out. Dark Archon here in the process of dying to the tank. Goodbye. Yeah, Brain knowing that he saw this, he knows that Mong is trying to go to kill this, puts his carriers there to intercept, starts unloading Dragoons to kill the Valkyries. That's really smart, but also to avoid and prevent those dropships from being unloaded. Shuttles all unloaded are flying into Brains, but actually they're not all unloaded. One of them has a Reaver in it. It gets attacked, it gets taken down. Reaver doesn't make it all the way to the SCVs. So fight still happening here on the middle. Brain is looking to have their upper hand here, and the factories are finishing up, which pretty much means the game is now done and over with. I don't like those tanks. I don't like the SCV mind control, but Brain doesn't need it because he's honestly just already breaking through. All the Valkyries that Mong had have gone down to the Dragoons, and now those 5 carriers, 3 more on the way. He's got a total of 6 finished up. Will not have a hard time killing Mong. Mong is going for a last-ditch effort tank drop to kill the probes, but the probes are on the far side, so he can't hit them. Which means that now the carriers and the zealots will clean them out. Mong calls the GG in the voice chat, I'm sure, and leaves game number 1, which means Brain wins game number 1. Yeah, this game was pretty much already over. The moment those carriers finished up, Mong didn't really have a chance anymore because he didn't really have the means to adequately fight against those carriers. He was kept small pretty much for the entire 28 minutes that we played this game or watched this game. The mind control here is a little bit of a bummer. I really think it's really bad mannered to go for mind control. Koreans think otherwise, but I think it's really bad mannered. I think it's insanely bad mannered to abuse something as unbalanced as mind control, considering how easy it is. You saw how easy it was. He had a Dark Archon here, mind controlled an SCV making a turret, flew the shuttle in, picked it up, and flew straight out. That's all he needed to do. All he needed to do was like 5 seconds of work. and you get this in return. But nonetheless, Brain won this fair and square without ever having to utilize the mind control. Mong knows this, we know this, so the mind control didn't impact the game. It did put more pressure on Mong, but Mong was going to die anyway. At least that's my opinion. So yeah, there should be a game number 2 that I'm going to do now, so sit tight. Alright, so game number 2 coming right up, and both players have switched races. Mong's on the Protoss, Brain is on the Terran. And I don't want to spoil anything, but for this game, you're in for a surprise. Cross-map. Cross-map situations are, in my opinion, always the most fun, because they feel like the Terran has a little bit more time to defend themselves and set themselves up against the Protoss. But do note, it's cross-map on middle spots, which pretty much means that the distance is actually negligible. Because this is like the fastest, mid spots have the fastest entrance into the middle, compared to corner spots where the distance is almost 1.3 times more, or 1.4 times more. Because you have the pathway here. So Mong starts off with a pylon, Brain starts off with what seems to be a barrack supply depot cheese. He builds 2 barracks first, then goes for a supply depot, and then goes for the scout, and goes for a bunker rush. So let's see if this is going to work or not. Let's see if it's going to work. There comes the SCV to make the depot. There it goes. Well, actually, that one's going to scout. Another one is going to make a depot. This one makes the depot. I'm sorry for spreading fake news, but there the depot is. Barracks both almost finishing up. Mong actually went for a fast Dragoon build, which is actually really weak against barrack supply, or well, a bunker rush, you might call it. BBS, the Koreans call it. BBS. Barrack supply. There comes the cybernetics core. There comes gateway number 2 and number 3. Supply depot is finished up. Supply depot number 2 already on the way for Brain, because he needs that one for more Marines. He finds Mong's location. Although he isn't sure yet, now he is sure though, because he spotted that one out. Sees the gateways, no zealot on the way for Mong. And now the situation is looking dire, extremely dire for Mong, because he's got no zealot on the way, and queuing up a zealot now would be too late. He starts attacking the SCV, some pretty sweet probe micro there. Kills the SCV, SCV number 2 is not going to go down. He pulls probes off of his minerals to try and stop this from really getting his feet down. But the bunker is going to finish up, maybe, gets some pretty good damage. He kills the SCVs, but he's going to lose his probes there to the Marines, because those Marines are simply stronger than the probes. And the bunker finishes up, which now means he can load the bunker, more probes. All the probes have been pulled off the minerals, but the bunker finishes, which means Mong has only lost the game because he has no units. This is the greatest risk of doing a barrack supply depot build. You're very exposed to danger. Even a regular A10 barracks and a very early find would have sufficed, because those Marines and you can pretty much do the same thing, because the timing is pretty much exactly the same, well, at least for the first barrack to finish. The second barrack is a little bit lagging behind, but because this the SCV that builds the first barrack scouts, you can find the Protoss rather early. So Brain wins this one rather easily, rather quickly, and that's purely because Mong went for a strategy that is specifically hard countered by barrack supply, barrack rush. So that means game number 2 goes to Brain. 2-0 for Brain. His best of 5 is looking very, very bad now for Mong, because all it takes is one more win for Brain, and he takes home the win. Let's see if he's going to win game number 3 or not. Both players are alternating between Protoss and Terran, so we're back again at Mong on Terran, Brain on Protoss. Oh, I didn't click start. Let me click start. Alright, there we go. Yeah, now I've got nothing to say as it counts down. Brilliant. Let's fix the interface. Yep. Until Brain is on the magenta Protoss. You're in the bottom middle of the map, and on the top right corner we've got Mong playing the Red Terran, and this is going to be the most important match in this series. To be more exact. If he wins this one, the next one is going to be just as important, because all it takes for Brain is one more win. Mong has to take home 3 wins in a row if he wants to win this series. Brain only needs one more win. The odds are stacked against Mong. And that is without a doubt true. Without a doubt. But, there's the big but. Mong does have the skills to potentially take this all home. All he needs to do is keep his SCVs alive. And the rest will pretty much play itself. Because the guy does have the skills to do it. If anyone, it's him. Brain starts off with the +1 Nexus build. Otherwise he wouldn't be saving up those 400 minerals. Which means this game is not going to feature a lot of early action. Brain can at most come online at about 5 or 6 minutes, maybe 6:30, depending on the strategy that is going to utilize here on Mong. And Mong goes with the very standard 2-barrack build. Very standard 2-barrack build. Okay, there's a pylon there in the front, although the pylon is not really in the front. Pretty far removed. But the pylon range goes to about here, so Brain can still build cannons to protect his choke. Just the pylon is pretty far removed. Something you don't often see. Oh, he even makes the cannon pretty close to the pylon. I was expecting it here. Maybe there. But he's making it there. There's actually still quite a big hole there for Mong to walk through with his marines if he wants to. Gateway there. Gas also coming in. Nexus almost finished. And yeah, Mong just seems to be doing the regular stuff. Even added on the 3rd barrack there. Went for a very early scout. He doesn't see... He sees it. Still tries to get the SCV, and SCV makes it in. Only gets a single hit. And he actually kills it by accident. Yeah, that was an accident. Definitely an accident. Because he could have gotten so much more information there on what Brain was doing. But yeah, mistakes do happen even with the best of the best. So yeah, it's standard once you find that the Protoss went for a very early choke to stop making Marines and just make more command centers. Mong for some reason makes the command center here, not there. But there's probably a reason behind it. Maybe he likes the fact that this area remains open, making it easier for him to defend himself against drops by having more room to put units down here. You can of course always lift this up, move it here, or you can just make 2 more command centers for a total of 5. So yeah, he starts off with a very quick 2 gas. There's the depot, there's an academy, and he will continue marine production as well. Zealot there on the middle, just there to check what is leaving Mong's base. Brain already making 2 robos. Well, that's a single robo and a Citadel of Dune. Citadel of Dune in the front. Weird placement, but it looks like he's expecting never to get a soldier on. Brain's moving out, chasing the Zealots. Svi makes his way back in. Medics soon on the way as well, once the academy finishes, but it's going to take a while. There is the factory. And yeah, Brain is slowly ramping up. It's got 3 gas. There is the Templar's Archive. Next, I thought it was a Nexus. Not a Nexus. 4 gateways instead. There's the support bay. Still only on a single shuttle. Stim upgrade on the way for Mong. Second command center is finished, making a scan. This will soon make a scan as well. Pretty early 3rd gas there, coming from Mong. Engineering bay for the turrets detection and all that kind of stuff. Of course, also that level 1 marine upgrade that most Terrans like to go for. Zealot's there, scouting, getting information, denying side vision for Mong, just in case Mong wants to put down marines here on the side to spot out shuttles. That's where Brain has got these here on the side, just to make sure there's nothing there. For the shuttle that he's going to fly in. He's going for 2 shuttles at the same time. He's loading up Dark Templars, it appears. And Mong scans. Mong sees Support Bay, Templars Archive, Double Nexus, and Dark Templars. If he was still looking, which he probably was not, but he would have spotted out the Dark Templar, which would have given away Brain's entire game plan. He does spot the he didn't spot the shuttle, he barely missed it. He's gonna fly in over the bottom side here. Mong is pulling back his units to safety, to a turret. Turret here on the bottom side does not finish up. Why are they invisible? Why are those invisible? Alright. Dark Templars were invisible, even though I had vision on. Right, so yeah, the Dark Templars are keeping those Marines away from the turret, which means he now can kill the turret. Turret goes down. No longer has scan energy, but he does have scan energy now. But there's too many Dark Templars to fight into. He goes for it regardless. Takes down the shuttle there as well. The shuttle actually takes fire away from the Dark Templars, forcing him to use a second scan. But those Dark Templars do wind up going down. And Brain actually gets almost pretty much nothing out of it. Pretty much nothing out of it. Killed a couple of Marines, killed a turret. Lost 3 Dark Templars and a shuttle. At most, it kept Mong busy. He did make an opening for the shuttle to fly in over though. Picks up the Zealot. He's gonna fly in here over the bottom side. The 2 shuttles already finished up. Tries to attack you in the front to pull units away, but Mong is not gonna fall for it. And there is the Wraith. Wraith's gonna fire on the shuttle. The shuttle's gonna fly in now. The shuttle's gonna take so much damage that it's gonna go down, and Brain actually ignores it. Lets it die. Doesn't unload it. You could have unloaded it and at least gotten some storms off, or at least gotten some damage off with the Zealots. A little bit of a mistake, a little bit of an oversight. So yeah, more units are moving to the side here. He actually forgot to load up the shuttle. The shuttle is actually empty. That's just... Brain has already made 2 mistakes here. The shuttle is empty. This shuttle is completely empty. Like, these units were supposed to have gone into the shuttle, but something went wrong and it didn't load up. They're still trying to get into the shuttle, but they're incapable of doing so because the shuttle is dead and there's a wall here. So yeah, two really big mistakes there from Brain that could have at least let him deal some damage on Mong there. But yeah, dealing no damage against a player of Mong's level, already 7 minutes, 8 minutes into the game, can really narrow down your chances of having success, and particularly because Mong has gone for double starport, and Raids are really good against shuttles, and you can even be offensive with those shuttles, with those raids, and hunt for shuttles. So yeah, Brain is being a little bit slow here even, on 2,000 minerals in total. Wait, don't tell me this replay is bugged. Don't tell me this replay is bugged. That would be an actual bummer. That would be the greatest letdown in history. Yeah, the replay is bugged. This is the most frustrating letdown in history. This is super frustrating. Yeah. I'm super bummed out here. I'm super bummed out because this was looking to be an amazing replay. An actually amazing replay. Because I'm going to spoil it. I'm just going to go ahead and spoil it because this replay is definitely broken. There's just so much wrong with the replay. Probes are not mining, stuff is not being produced, minerals not being spent, shuttles not being loaded up, scans are being randomly used, units are running around haphazardly without aim. Nothing is happening. SCVs here just stacking up, piling up, doing nothing at all. Yeah. So I'm just going to leave this one. It's over. Yeah, so I'm gonna spoil it a little bit. Mong wins that game. Sadly, we can't see how. We can't see how he beats Brain, but he beat Brain. The score is 2 to 1. Brain is ahead. Mong is 1 win. That's pretty much all I can tell. So yeah, after that bummer of a 3rd game, which was a win for Mong, we're going to game number 4, which I hope does not crash, because that would really bum me out even further. Would make me a very sad RJB. Would make me a very sad RJB. Usually only the very old replays corrupt, or the replays on the previous map, the Styler 5.0 map, corrupt. Given they meet a certain set of conditions, which I haven't really been able to find out yet. But it happened on the old map, and this is the newer maps, and for some reason, very rarely, they still corrupt. Very rarely. Regardless of that, let's ignore the past. The past has happened. We cannot do anything. I can't get angry or I can't get sad about that replay. Doesn't change the fact that it happened and that we have to move on to game number 4, which is now here before us. Mong on the teal Protoss. You're on the top right corner once again, and Brain on the middle bottom spot of the map once again, and he's the blue Terran. So both players have swapped races, but haven't swapped locations. Brain this time not going for barrack supply. Mong once again going for Dragoons. And Brain is sticking to only 2 barracks, going for a very early gas, which means a very early marine range to defend his bunkers, and probably very early tanks as well, which is actually good against a Dragoon build. Because once you scout and spot the Dragoon build, you make bunkers in your front, you get marine range to keep those Dragoon ranges, those ranged Dragoons away, and then you get tanks to keep those ranged Dragoons away for good. But there's a small window where the Protoss can try to force their way in. Yeah, because it's a 3 gateway Dragoon force, and with some good micro, good focus, good target fire, and a single mistake from the Terran, you can break in. Yeah, Brain is nonetheless still again trying to go for a very early find on Mong. If Mong had been right next to Brain and Brain had found him very early, he could still have shut down this Dragoon build, because the Dragoons are only now starting. Marine will find Mong. There's another barrack being built. Wait, is it a factory? That's a goddamn factory. He's making a goddamn factory here at a random location on the map. So he did find where Mong is located. A random factory being built right beneath Mong's base. Marine is getting the hell out of there because those Dragoons are soon spawning. Mong is actually going for a very early Citadel off a dune, in addition to his Dragoon range, which leads him to only be capable of adding 2 more Dragoons to his unit count. Also making a pylon there on the middle. On the middle though, Mong's doing some creative stuff. He hasn't found where Brain is yet, does find him now, and stands just outside of the range of the Marines. Marines don't have range yet because the academy is still on the way, so it's going to take a while before he has to do the Marine range. He does have a double. Is he lifting that up? He lifted up that factory. And he unlifted it, and now the factory is going to get cut out here. Brain tried to do some really cheesy stuff, I'm sure, and it's not working. Mong actually placed that Citadel in a really nice location. And yeah, the Dragoon range is finished, but the Dragoons are not being used to attack. This is actually looking like a build I saw Kim-Ki-san do once, but Mong is switching it all up. The Kim-Ki-san went for Dark Templars. Like, he started off with going for Dragoons, but then he faked it and went for Dark Templars, forcing the opponent to prepare for Dragoons, not for Dark Templars. So he goes in, ignores the front, takes down the CV there building the bunker. It takes a while though. And he goes in, walks in, and this is going to be a really nice little micro fight here inside of Brain's base. There he goes, stutter steps away from the Marines, but yeah, he kind of discontinues it to a degree. He's just trying to be a pain in the ass. Brain adds on the +1 command center, has his starport finished, And the factory is just gonna burn out here. I think the plan was he wanted to make tanks here on the side, or maybe fly it over and make vultures inside of Mong's base, or even make a machine shop with siege mode here in the corner, and then instead of doing like a firebat rush on the probes, like he does a siege tank rush or a vulture rush on the probes. Anyway, it was probably thinking something along those lines, but it's definitely already failed. Raids are on the way to counter shuttles, but shuttles are not yet on the way for Mong, who's making a second citadel. He's making a second citadel off a dune. Is he making another mistake? This game is just all kinds of weird right now. This just doesn't make any sense. It's not corrupted yet though. That I'm sure. It's not corrupted yet because things are still making... Units are still behaving as they should. Buildings are still being made as they should. It's just this is making a lot of not sense. Yeah, there's the support bay. I think Mong now realizes he made 2 citadels of Fadoon. Shuttle is finished. Raid is hunting for the shuttle, but there's no... Well, he flies straight. He's not hunting for the shuttle. He's scouting. Prepare to throw away the Wraith. There's another Wraith here. He's making a covered ops. He's going for a nuke. He's definitely going for a nuke. It's kind of a BM cheesy strategy, going for a nuke. If you hit the nuke, it's beautiful. If it fails, you kind of die. Sometimes if you hit the nuke, you still die, because it's just such a huge investment to get such a quick early nuke. Because look at him, he's got pretty much no defenses that are actually adequate. Goons spreading out all over the map to spot out dropships or units just there to function as a deterrent and as a scouting mechanism to get map control. Single Dragoon there, kills SCV, runs away to safety, away from the deadly, scary Marines. Yeah, more raids coming in, more starports coming in. There is the nuclear silo. And yes, shuttles slowly creeping in to the supply count of Mong. No storming away. Shuttle speed is on the way though. Weapon upgrade as well. Cloak on the way here for... Actually, that's Ghost Cloak. Ghost Cloak on the way here for Brain. Ghosts also... Well, one Ghost is finished up. Control Tower being added on for the dropship. He might go for EMP and a vessel as well. He's getting ocular implants for the Ghost to increase the Ghost range. Siege mode now, of course, on the way there as well for Brain. And Raids there, scouting the sides. On patrol, flying back and forth, turrets being thrown down for the sides. Mong has not yet dealt any damage, but he's grown really big in terms of economy. Already on 670 probes, 70 probes in total. That's quite big. And we got all the upgrades on the way that he needs: storm, armor, shields, speed, weapons, and gateways being warped in. One misplaced pylon. Yeah, this game is pretty much a snooze fest, but the nuke does promise that we're in for some good stuff. But at the moment, it's still a snooze fest. Would have liked this to have a little bit more action, purely to make up for the previous replay, which was the biggest letdown in my casting career. A replay between Brain and Mong, that Brain loses, and Brain is playing the Protoss, and he loses. That would have been so exciting to see, so exciting to watch. You can still hear that I'm pretty bummed out about that one, evidently. Check cannons being thrown here on the side, but those cannons are a little bit late because the Ghost is already on the scene, well, almost on the scene. It's gonna wriggle its way through into Mong's base, but Mong is making cannons everywhere. His anti-drop and his anti-nuke, I think he feels it coming. Stargates being thrown down here on the side to make Corsairs to escort the shuttles into Brain's base. 9 minutes in and Mong still hasn't thrown a punch. Honestly, a little bit surprised by that one. Usually he's one of those players who throw out punches really early. Yeah, pylons for supply. More cannons there on the side as well. Ghost waiting for the nuke to finish up, which it has. It has finished up. I guess he's then waiting for the raids, and perhaps a vessel as well. But no vessel is on the way, just raids. Still only a single factory. Build up a pretty nice wall. Depot's pretty far removed from the wall. Actually like that quite a bit. They can still hit the zealots who are hitting the depot wall, but the goons cannot really hit the bunkers without risking being shut down by the tanks. I like that. So the ghost made it in. Mong is looking to fly his units in, flies its units in. Nuclear launch gets detected, units are unloading, units are inside of Mong's base. He's getting some real damage down here. Now he's gonna have to juggle between two locations at the same time. When does the nuke come? He scans, the nuke lands, and the nuke flies in, the nuke hits the probes, and the probes go boom. Cannons go boom as well, and he still has the ghost alive thanks to the ocular implants. But at the same time, inside of Brain's base, he's losing his own workers at the same time to the storm. Storm's hitting the SCVs. He didn't dodge the storm, he wasn't. Yes, Brain is. I mean, there was a beautiful nuke there, though. But he is feeling the hurt from not going for a really defensive build. Because Mong just had such an easy time dealing all this damage, killing all those Marines, all those units, and all those SCVs as well. He does have 4 command centers though, but he lacks the production facilities to keep up with Mong, who has 3 nexuses, but only 20 probes, but a lot of gateways, and the ghost is still there alive on the scene. Goons and zealots being pulled back. Is that a cannon? That's a cannon. Nuke number 2 comes in. Nuke number 2 comes in. Nuke number 2 comes in. He spots the ghost. That was like 2 seconds, maybe a single second before the nuke was gonna come down and kill the probes and hit the nexus. That was actually really close. It was actually stupidly close. But the observer spots the ghost just in time, and nuke number 2 falls flat. Well, it doesn't even fall down, it just disappears. Like it just poof, it's gone. Got sent off, but never arrived. Kind of like the Bermuda Triangle of nukes. Just poof, it disappears, it's gone. Never to be seen again. Brain is having a pretty good time rebuilding his SCV count. Already on 50, Mong only on 35. Trailing behind a little bit because he's only got 3 nexus in total. 4th one and a 5th one being added on. So he wants to rebuild that quicker and quicker. The upside of all this is that because Brain pretty much only has raids, supply in 2 nukes, not a lot of supply in tanks, a lot of supply in Marines though, but almost no supply in tanks, he cannot move out to attack Mong because he's got the wrong units basically. Raids will not achieve much. The tanks, so low in number, will not achieve much. The lack of production facilities such as factories and barracks will not achieve much. Having no upgrades will not achieve much. Well, the Marines have upgrades. I mean, the Marines have upgrades, but there's only level 2 weapon. The tank upgrades are on the way. More armor is being added on for air upgrades as well. But Brain is pretty much just forced to sit and defend. Plus, Brain doesn't actually know how many SCVs, how many probes he killed. Because it doesn't display on the ghost how many kills he gets when he nukes something. So for all Brain knows, maybe Mong has a lot of workers. Maybe Mong is completely fine. Brain just doesn't know. The downside of nuking, if you don't physically see all probes dying, which he didn't because he was defending at the same time, he doesn't know the status Mong is in. 59 probes now. He has managed to recover somewhat, but during all that time his mass has not really grown that much, and he hasn't added on to his base. But he just added those nexus, added a couple of cannons to defend, and is now on the hunt for Marines up on the hill. Deny Brain some vision. Raids are gonna hunt for shuttles, or are they gonna hunt for the nexus? He's balling up on the side here. Perfect time for a bit of water. Mong tried to kill the depots here in the front, but those tanks are actually at the perfect range to hit those dragoons. And yeah, here Brain goes in for a kill on the Arbiters, but he gets stasis, which means the Arbiters will survive. The Micros hit regardless, and the cannons take down the remainder of the raids. So the fact Brain already has stasis to take care of those raids is really, really good, because now Brain is stuck with about 24 supply here, just hanging above those cannons. Which means he's got no raids to snipe shuttles or arbiters, which means Mong has free entry into Brain's base. Small detail, he moves out his marines over the map. I think he's gonna try to snipe the arbiters, but the arbiters has already left. He's gonna try to snipe the shuttles, but they've already left. They're already here, already on the scene. So now he's just gonna have to sacrifice those. Shuttles coming in. Shuttles gonna take down all this here on the bottom side. There, loading in the bottom corner of Brain's base. Nothing in range to kill those zealots who were taking down those turrets. The shuttles did go down though. And actually a couple of those zealots actually took down a couple of those SCVs as well, because they triggered the splash damage of the SCVs. The splash damage of the tanks. Wait, Templar goes in. Templar has storm. Templar storms. Templar kills about 14 of the SCVs that were there. So 45 SCVs now for Brain. Brain is actually in a pretty bad spot here. And Mong is actually in the better spot here. The raids here also all went down to the cannons. And a storm assumedly, or presumably. Not sure whether I use presumably or assumedly. Presumably is, I think... I'm not going to dive into linguistics here, or grammar, for that matter, or definitions. I just don't really know which one it is. The Dragoons up on the hill, Dragoons want to start attacking the turrets, but there's tanks firing on the Dragoons, but there's 50% chance to miss the Dragoons, because they're on the hills, so they can at least take down a couple of those turrets, but that pretty much doesn't really slow down Brain, because he can just make new ones, they only cost 75 each. But it is annoying nonetheless. Marines here being taken down on the side. The Marines were there to snipe shuttles leaving Mong's base. Smart setup, but Mong can really easily shut it down, which he does. He pretty easily shut it down by just sending some zealots there and killing those Marines. The upgrades for Mong are pretty damn good. 2, 2, 3. Brain is on 1, 1 for the tanks. And he's got no more Marines, but he's got some ghosts, and they're on 1, 2 as well. Still getting upgrades there for those ground forces, even though he's not making them anymore. In the bio, he's not making them anymore. Fessel moves out. Fessel gets shut down because units are moving out for Mong. Mong making pylons all around the map for vision, probably for cannons as well. It looks like Brain is still trying to go for nukes, but Mong is not planning on letting him go for more nukes. Great storms are coming down on the SCVs and the tanks. More tanks going down there to the storm. Pretty much all the tanks in the back have gone down to the storms. The zealots are having a field day. Brain's workers are forced to retreat, run away. Units from the front are being pulled to the back. Barracks being lifted up so those tanks can actually reach the back. But most of this Templars are still alive. And I think most of these Templars still have energy. So anything that comes close to the command center to defend is going to get stormed. As if he's pulling back to the middle, but he pulls them off just one last time to secure that they don't get stormed. And Brain losing about 14 SCVs. Not hurt all that badly, but a lot of lost mining time, a lot of lost units, and sufficient amounts of pressure coming down here. Brain looks to be going for an EMP tank drop on Mong's already weakened Nexus, but the damage it got from the nuke is already recovered almost fully because he never got through the shield. The lost HP is permanent, but the shield recovers itself slowly. Corsairs hunting for Valkyries. Units here on the middle ready to attack. Shuttles being loaded up. Corsairs there to assist and take down Valkyries as well. He might have Disruption Web as well. I'm not sure. I didn't see. I do know that he's now on almost level 3 upgrades for his shield and armor as well. Level 2 weapons for the tanks and shield, tanks and air are on the way. Corsairs going for the Valkyrie. Shuttles make their way in. Valkyries have been pretty much one-shot, and Mong makes his way all the way to the SCVs as we now have to run for their lives. There's no Templars here in the mix, but the Zealots should suffice. The Zealots should be enough, because there's no SCVs here to repair the command center. Only a single tank there to defend. Tank goes down, SCVs go down, command center goes down as well. Now the Zealots are just wreaking havoc, running back and forth, hitting whatever they want to hit. And a frontal attack is happening here as well, but a frontal attack doesn't really get much done. Now the last hope for Brain is this drop of tanks, but all the dropship just gets stormed and it just already falls flat. Only a single tank shot comes in, kills about 30 probes, but Brain is dead. Dead. Brain is dead. Brain loses rather convincingly because he got down a really good nuke, but Mong had some really great counter hits. The game was at first slow, the game was a bit messy. The game was really messy. It was just all over the place. Both players made a lot of mistakes. The double Citadel of Doom. Wow. Weird Factory. Wow. Like, they were both just doing weird, super weird stuff. I mean, I'm satisfied the nuke hit though. It was pretty satisfying to watch the nuke hit. But Brain dug his own grave by going for such a hard to pull off strategy. It's definitely BM. It's definitely, it's like a mild banterish BM, not like serious BM. It's just like a mild banterish BM strategy that backfired. So now means the score is 2-2. Mong can still win this. Brain can also still win this. So let's move to game number 5. So let's dig in and prepare ourselves for the finals, the finale. That's it, not the finals, the finale of this set of action between Mong and Brain, who actually, I got screwed over by the system. They pretty much have the same colors on the minimap. It's really annoying. And when I turn on colorblind mode, it's still, because they hosted melee, they're both yellow. Because they hosted melee. So yeah, I actually can't, yeah. Regardless of that. White Protoss on the bottom right corner, excuse me. And Mong here on the bottom left corner. I'm not going to make that same mistake twice. I've already done so before. I'm not going to do it again. You're playing pink. I think this is pink. I just think the color is too similar to white. I really hate this color. I hate it so much. Starts off with an 8-10 barracks. Mong starts off with the 8-10 barracks. Nexus comes in for Brain. No early aggression. Or maybe I'm wrong. He has done some early aggression builds with a +1 Nexus. Like there was this one time he did Dragoons, and then Dragoon into Reaver. Some really sweet micro. He did it against JH, or also known as Voss. Actually known as Boss, because the Korean alphabet has the same sign for the letter V and B. Let me type it out. V, B. It's the same sign. So I think he was meant to name himself Boss, but because of the limitations of the Korean language, he named himself Voss. Yeah, it happens. So Mong here starting out with the 3 barracks. Early scout there with the SCV there on the top. Marine also on the hunt. Choke is going to come down here for Brain because that cannon will get finished because the Marines are chasing the probe instead of continuing scouting, which means this cannon will take no damage from the Marine. The Marine will arrive though, but the cannon will already be up and running. Probe returns to base. Probe runs away. Cannon finished. Marine runs into his untimely demise. Cybernetics on the way. 1 gas is finished. 2nd gas is on the way. Mong, that's a command center, stops making Marines, so he's going to add a 3rd command center as well, right above the 2nd one. So they couldn't kill the probe. Probe makes it out alive miraculously. I'm not sure how he managed that. I really should have tracked it, because it would have been amusing to watch. That one single probe wriggling its way through all those Marines and surviving. Gateway number 2. Gateway number 3. Robotics. Only a single robotics. No Dragoon range. Pylon there just to spot out things being hovered over the hill just in case, but also to start his base layout, because Brain likes to build a row of pylons here and a single row of gateways right next to it. Brain's there just to make sure he keeps tabs on what Brain is doing. 2 gas, as is tradition. Academy, as is tradition. Depot in the front to build a wall. Also very normal stuff. And there's the Dragoon range. It looks like Brain is going for Dragoons and a Reaver both at the same time. Second Robo there as well. 3 Dragoons queued up, warping in. No support bay yet. It might come in soon, but it's not there yet. There's the support bay. This is definitely going to be a Reaver Dragoon build. It's gonna have some sweet micro, and I don't think Mong is expecting it. Mong is definitely not expecting it, which is one of the greatest strengths of this build that Brain is doing. Usually people expect something else. They expect double Reaver for a drop. Wait, there's a scan. What did he see? He sees the Dragoon range. He sees 3 gateways. It already gives away that Brain is doing something else than he was expecting him to do. But nonetheless, Mong prepares himself for the drop, even though he saw the Dragoon range. So he didn't see any Dragoons themselves though. He didn't physically spot the Dragoons. So he might not even know, he might not have connected the dots that Brain is doing something else than what Mong is expecting, because Mong is putting up a wall here. No depots. I mean no bunkers. No bunkers. He doesn't know. Not a depot there in the front. We're just going to die. Wait, no, never mind. He's trying to get the SCV back over the wall. He's going to cancel that bunker, that depot, once the SCV moves over the wall. Factory is making that siege mode, making the tank. Yeah, he discontinues trying to get the SCV back over the wall. So yeah, Mong goes in for the attack. There's nothing here. Brain goes in for the attack, and Mong has nothing to defend. There comes a bunker, but the bunker is too late because the Reavers have already landed behind the wall and take down the bunker. Tank there all the way in the back. Siege mode is finished up, but this is going to be really difficult here for Mong, because this attack from Brain is actually insanely strong. Reavers, also because he took down those depots in the front, Mong is now supply stuck. He has to go in for the attack. Tank is there in the back. Oh, that's a really nasty scarab hit. Super nasty. And actually, Mong is already dead here. Mong is already dead. There's nothing he can do. Tank in the back. There's no Marines. Tank goes down. Tank number 2 sieges up, and tank number 2 also goes down to the Reaver. The CV's there trying to take them. The Reavers are in the back, but actually the game is over. That's like the quickest single attack into a win I've probably ever seen in my life. That just escalated so extremely quick. And as I've said, all because Mong misread the situation, it was honestly already a really hard situation to read, because pretty much no one does this exact build that Brain does. And that's how Brain wins the series. That's how Brain wins it. I'm really bummed out that the one Terran win we got, actually there were 2 Terran wins, but I'm really bummed out that the Terran win that Mong got himself, the replay just went up and broke. I can try to go in once again, but it's just gonna break. It's like once a replay is corrupted, it is forever tainted, never to be watched again, forever gone. Which I'm really sad about. So yeah, thanks for watching. This was RJB TV, bringing you a Brain against Mong series. just to extend onto the Terran versus Zerg game we had recently. If we put all those 6 games together, the score is 3-3. So they're in that sense even. But they've, in their entire history of fastest map, played each other a lot more, and Brain always wound up winning. Brain has not lost a series against anyone yet, except Minchul. He's lost one singular series of 1v1 against Minchul somewhere in August or July, maybe even in June of 2019. But since then, he's only been winning fastest map 1v1 series. So pretty much a whole year with only a single lost series. But I do feel that Mong might in the near future beat him at least once in the series. He's the person closest. If we of course also include Minchul. Minchul and Mong are closest. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'm gonna try one more time to see if that replay corrupts. And if it does, I'm gonna recast that last half of it. If it corrupts, I'm just gonna cancel the video here and hope you enjoyed it. So it actually turns out a miracle occurred and the replay uncorrupted itself, or so it appears, because last time around we didn't have all these buildings here and we didn't have all these buildings here. So I'm just gonna play it, slow it down to normal speed, and we can watch it. So here Mong took down a shuttle drop by Brain. Brain then tries to go in with a shuttle drop from the bottom side. Can Mong interrupt this? Mong goes in, he snipes the shuttle. The shuttle doesn't go all the way. It means his workers are once again protected once more. Mong looks to be in pristine condition here. And Brain, I'm actually really happy that the replay uncorrupted. I'm really happy about this one, because now we can see how Mong beats Brain. I should have probably tried this before. Usually replays are corrupted forever, but this time around, it's actually just working. It's working. It's working, guys. It's working. Woohoo! Yeah, I'm really happy about this one. I wanted to see how this one played out. We already know Mong is winning because I already spoiled that. But how does it happen? That's the important part. How does he win? How does he beat Brain's Protoss? Which is something that pretty much never happens. How does he do it? How does he do it? Yeah, so more upgrades on the way here for Brain. He's got air armor. He's got shuttles. I mean, he's got... Not sure what that is. It's an icon of something, but I don't know what it is. Oh, it's observer speed. He's got observer speed on the way. That's it. Fleet beacon on the way as well. Mong has got weapon upgrade for his tanks on the way. He already has level 1 upgrade, I presume. No level 1 upgrade. He does have level 1 upgrade for his Marines, though. Raids also there, just hanging. More raids on the way, ready to snipe shuttles. Mong has a lot of units all spread out over the map, so he might spot this out with these here. He's also scanning at the same time. He spots out the shuttles. Raids are already outside of the base, already on the move, on the prowl, ready to find those shuttles. Shuttles are changing direction. Shuttles get spotted out here by those raids. Raids are on the chase. Look at them go. They take it all down, take down the raids. Brain managed to unload a couple of his units, but the Templar is going to go down. Storm misses. Corsairs are incapable of fighting back. Corsairs just flying around and into their untimely deaths. Yeah, so Mong is playing this one really, really well. So that's some really good defending there. Also some really offensive scanning to try and keep track of when those shuttles are leaving the base so you can hunt them down and kill them with the raids. Brain has set himself up for a frontal attack there. Got some shuttles there to unload behind the hill, but I don't know if this is going to work because those raids are so close to the choke. Sends in an observer for recon. So you can see this entire portion here. He has the information. He knows what Mong has there at his choke. He goes in. Shuttles coming in. Shuttles are gonna get taken down by... No, the shuttles unload everything, but the raids and the units and Marines are there are taking down the Zealots behind the wall. So the Zealots are not much of a problem. All the Zealots that are bringing to the front already lost a lot of HP. The front does get taken down really quick there though, but the Zealots pretty much deal no damage to the tanks behind it, which is the most important part there for Mong. Storm comes down, Storm misses, the Marines get pulled to safety. And Mong immediately starts building onto his base, getting a bigger base, getting more factories, and it looks like he is in great condition. Brain is now running behind the facts Because he's got 71 probes against 84 SCVs, and Mong already has a completely filled out base. Rebuilding the wall there in the front. Ooh, this is getting exciting. This is getting tight. Another scan comes down. He sees all this. Another scan comes down as well. What did he see? What did he see? Oh, it already ended. Raids are on the move. He actually spots out the exact spot that Brain is moving out over, and he finds the shuttles once again. And once again, no shuttle drop for Brain. And this is really the way to go as a Terran. Continuously shutting down those shuttles and preventing the Protoss from ever getting in. Preventing the Protoss from ever hitting your workers. This is some pristine top level stuff. Yeah, once again, Zealots are trying to clear out units there on the side, but Mong doesn't need those Marines anymore because he wants to replace them with Goliaths and tanks. And just need a supply space. Brain is still somewhat small, but it's only 12 minutes in. So he's still planning on getting bigger. Scan once again comes out by Mong on those shuttles, and he sees them being loaded up, which leads me to believe those raids are soon going on the hunt. Mong also loading up a tank drop. 4 tanks in total. I'm sure he scanned this, and he scanned that there's only 2 cannons there. This gets spotted out. Nope, that's raids. The dropships were clearing the way. This barracks spotted the Zealot, so he clears the way. Dropships are there on the bottom side. Mass drop here on the top side, which Mong already knows is coming. He's got his raids on location. Raids respond. Raids are gonna take down those shuttles. Will the shuttles unload any Templars? Flies in. No Templars there. Only Zealots. Zealots though, attacking the SCVs, attacking the command center, which shouldn't go down here. The command center should be fine. It's being repaired. More importantly, dropship moving out over the bottom side. No new cannons have been made here. Brain is simply preparing himself for the next attack. He's simply preparing himself for the next attack, and Mong has honestly been playing this really well. There comes the tank drop. Let's zoom in just a little bit. Brain pulls his SCVs away, probes away, but there's so many tanks, he's gonna get some great shots off. He actually hit 15 of the probes. Wait, no, Brain, don't be too greedy. Don't pull those probes back to the barrels. Oh, he gets his... Oh, killed only 1 more. But nonetheless, Brain is in a really bad position here because Mong is maxed out with tanks, Goliaths, and everything he needs. Double upgrades also have finished up. He's on 1-2. Brain is now moving out, trying to counterattack, trying to stop this from taking over the game, but Mong is already too big. This is definitely not holdable. Brain realizes it, and Brain taps out, and Mong wins in 14 minutes and 45 seconds with a really well executed raid defense. Balls up his units, masses up, camps it out, and then goes for the timed counterattack once Brain loses his entire mass and his gateway count is still too low to rebuild that mass instantly. Really well played from Mong there, and I'm glad I went back to check if the replay was fixable. Like, usually this never happens. This is like a blessing from above where a replay uncorrupts itself. You all saw it. You all saw that the replay was corrupted. You all were just as bummed out as I was, or at least so I hope to believe. Because I was pretty bummed out. I was pretty mad, pretty angry. I was even considering just quitting the cast because, like, damn it. Why does it happen again to another Mong game? Like, it happened already once before on a Hamburger Sasu against Mong replay that was looking really good, and then it just, poof, corrupted, and gone it was. This time, we're lucky. So yeah, thanks for watching. Brain, of course, won 3-2. Mong won 2 games, one of which was quite impressive. This one was quite impressive. The shuttle defense was really something to watch. That's the use of scans to be this aggressive and offensive, and hunt for those shuttles with the raids. I think that's just amazing play. That's just amazing play. It really shows that shuttles drops are not the biggest thing to fear. because it can be dealt with. You need some scans, some raids, some sweet micro. That's how you shut down shuttle drops. Thanks for watching. This was RJB TV, and see you next time.